For day number 3 of the Explaindio 2.0 8-day review video challenge, we're going to learn about what makes a good review video. We're going to talk about some video creation methods, and then we're going to actually plan out our review video today. And this will get us prepared for day number 5 when we will actually create the video. So to start with, I want to talk about what really makes a good product review video. To be honest, you can build a wide variety of different levels of product review videos using Explaindio. Some of them can be extremely good and useful, and others can honestly be complete junk. A lot of times, people are willing to make sacrifices to the quality of their video in order to get it done quicker or cheaper or any one of a number of different things. While you can make videos of any quality level and publish them on YouTube and potentially get search traffic from them, you will really do the best if you try to put the most into it that you possibly can. One of the biggest things is that people simply want you to be honest. Nobody really wants to sit there on YouTube and watch a 5, 10, 15, 20-minute long sales pitch about a product to try to get them to buy it through someone's affiliate link. That's not your goal here with creating product review videos. What you should really be looking to do is to find a way that you can connect with the person that is watching your video. This can be done in a wide variety of different ways, but generally sharing the product with the person, letting them hear your voice at the very, very least, can go a long way there towards making that happen. Now, think about when you might be interested in buying something, but you don't really know a lot about it, or maybe you're not sure if that product is quite right for what it is that you're looking to do. Chances are you've probably gone on the internet yourself to try to find product review videos. These can really help you to answer those questions that you have before you're actually buying something. And when you can run across something that helps you to solve that problem, and you're then instantly like, okay, this is what I want, this is right for my situation, I want to give it a go. If you're the person that has that video that's made that connection with the person watching it, and you're promoting that product with an affiliate link, then chances are you're going to end up getting that sale. So this should be more what your goal is with these product review videos. Ideally, if you can have the product in your hand and record yourself using the product, whether this is from a first-person perspective or a third-person perspective, you will honestly end up with the best possible results that you can achieve with this type of video. Anything beyond that can still work, but you are sacrificing quality of your video there. Obviously, if you can see a product being used, if you actually get to experience it firsthand that way, then you're a lot more inclined to be able to make your decision on that product. Whereas if you're just looking at a still image or text and image animations that ultimately are still not really showing you what the product does, it is a lot harder to come to that conclusion as a consumer. So keep this in mind when you are deciding on how you actually want to approach creating these product review videos. Ask yourself if you are willing to go the extra mile to try to actually make something high quality for people to bring them in. If you can do that and you accomplish this and pull the creation of the video off correctly, these things can last for many, many years, generating an obscene amount of traffic for you. So it really is worth the effort to put into it, at least in my opinion. Now, I don't expect for everybody to be either comfortable with creating the highest possible quality video, which would mean, recording your voice along with your video, possibly even being on camera. If you're not willing to do that, there are other options for you. You just simply may have to settle for less than perfect results in terms of the amount of traffic you can potentially get, the amount of positive feedback that you're going to get from the video that you're creating. However, the intention of this training program is not just to be for only the people that want to create a very specific type of video. I do want to try to help all of you, no matter what your situation may possibly be and what you're comfortable with doing in terms of creating a video. So I am going to be kind of covering different aspects of both of those types of video creation, and this can kind of help you along the way to reinforce that decision that you want to make. And then once you have decided on something, it'll help you to actually figure out how to do it, what steps you need to take to pull it off. So I'll be covering all of that stuff for you guys in the future as well. Now, a lot of times, the most common kind of product review video that you're going to see on YouTube, for example, is going to be what's known as an unboxing review video. This is where you actually get to see the person pull it out of the box and unpackage it, get it set up, and use it for the very first time. So you get that first-hand experience of what it's going to be like right after you buy that product. And this can help you to answer a lot of those questions that you have as a consumer. So obviously, it is a very helpful type of video. However, it's not the only kind of video that you can possibly create. You can create usage videos that are showing what people can do with the product and how it's used in different types of situations. This way, you can target more than just the actual product name as a keyword phrase. You can target keywords that have to do with the usage of that kind of product. For people that are looking to pick the perfect one for whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish with it, you can help to make those connections for them with very specific ultra-targeted videos. And they really don't have to be very long when you're targeting a very small topic like that. Now also, beyond everything I've been talking about, the different kinds of videos that you can make, the way that I recommend going about creating videos, one other thing that I would really recommend to do is to go to YouTube itself. Search for a product name and tack the word review onto the end of it, especially if it is a really well-known product, like the Kindle Fire HD, for example. Tons of videos out there for it. Go out on YouTube and Google and see what's popping up as the first result. See what kind of a response these people are getting, and actually watch through their video and try to understand why people are giving it the reception that they are. Chances are it's not going to be a lot of flashy animations and text scrolling across the screen and sketch images and things of that nature that really draw people in. It's going to be the content of the video, what people are actually talking about, what they're showing you having to do with that product that they're reviewing. So these are really the things you should be more focused on, even though it can be really easy to get distracted by the other part of that using software like Explaindio, because that's what all the features in Explaindio are for. So the point is, you don't want to make a whole video just packed with everything that Explaindio can do. You want to carefully select your features to make high quality videos that people can actually get some use out of to help them make a decision whether or not to buy a product. Now, when it comes to actually creating your video, we will be talking about this in much more detail on day number 5 of this course. However, it is important to decide what kind of video you'll actually be creating at this point in the process. That way, you can plan the appropriate information. Make sure you have everything that you need before it's time to actually start creating that video. So there are really 3 main kinds of types of videos that you can create having to do with these product review videos. And I want to discuss each of them with you here really briefly. One of them is to have a 100% sketch and animated video that is created using Explaindio. An example of this would be like something you see here on my screen, where all of the elements of your video are animated here within this software. Now, this type of video, on one hand, you should consider it to be kind of on the lower end of the spectrum in terms of quality, because if your video is 100% animated like this, you're not actually going to really be able to give the person that detail about the product that they're looking for. They're not going to get to see the product in person, or if they do, it's only going to be a picture that is on their screen. They're not going to get to see any kind of live action there. Now, within this type of video, you can really go a couple different ways with it. You can do simple music audio to go along with all of this animation. But again, that becomes kind of what I would consider the lowest quality form, because it is the least useful and the least engaging for people to watch. You could also do a sketch video where you simply talked along with the video. So you would actually do voiceover audio to go along with all the animation. For a video like this does get into more higher quality realm, because people do get that personal interaction with you in terms of getting to hear your voice. You can actually explain things, so people aren't just sitting there reading stuff on their screen and listening to an audio track. It is definitely a more engaging type of video. However, you can still go above and beyond that and do another kind of video, something like a first-person video or even a third-person video. This would be where you actually have the product that you're reviewing in your hand, and you record yourself using that product. This could be an unboxing video, this could be an actual usage video, or it could even be a tutorial type of video where you're teaching someone how to use a product. However, I would recommend avoiding more of the tutorial types of videos unless it gives you a very easy way of selling extra products to people. Because basically, if you're giving a tutorial about a product, chances are the person watching that tutorial probably already owns that product. So unless you're trying to sell them an accessory that allows them to pull off that tutorial or whatever it is that you're accomplishing in it, then you a lot of times don't have anything to sell them. And you can have really, really popular videos, but very, very few sales when it comes to Amazon. So it's important to think about where the consumer is going to be in their buying process to find a video like what you are trying to create, and then put that appropriate type of video out there for them to find. Now, your first person and your third person videos, where you have the product in your hand and you're actually showing people how to use it and teaching them things that are going to be important to them to help them decide whether they want to buy it or not. These are definitely going to be your highest quality video possible that you can create, where you have a product in your hand and you can show the person what it's actually like. You can show it to them when it's coming out of the box. Well, with this type of video, you have a couple of obstacles that you kind of have to overcome to be able to do them. Number one, you need to own the actual product. Owning the product can be kind of a gray area there. There's a lot of different ways that you can approach getting your hands on a product to do a review video about it. If you're gonna buy something already, when you receive the box, before you rip into it, set up and prepare to do a product review video on it. In that type of a situation, it really doesn't matter what the popularity of the product is. It doesn't matter if you would get an obscene amount of traffic on it, because you were going to buy the product already. So any sales that you could refer on that product would really be kind of bonus income. Well, let's say you wanted to do a product review on a product that you don't already own and that you were not already going to be buying. Let's say you're targeting a very specific niche, and maybe there's a handful of different products of the same type that you would honestly like to do a product review video for. What can you really do in that kind of a situation? Obviously, you could simply try to buy a product and do a product review video on it. However, a lot of your better commissions that you can get from referring sales on these products will be with the more expensive products, things that are $100 and up per product. So it can be difficult, especially getting started in something like that, to actually be able to afford to buy those products, and especially to be able to do it in any significant quantity to where you could be doing just more than one single product. For example, if you're promoting an electronics item on Amazon, you're likely only going to be able to get a 4% commission. There might be a few minor exceptions to that, but for the most part, electronics, computers, and things of that nature, new age digital kind of stuff, a lot of times it is limited to a 4% commission, no matter what your monthly sales volume may be. So with that said, you would actually need to get 25 sales on a product, getting 4% per sale to recover what you pay for a product if you were going to do a product review video on it. Now, sure, if you could afford to buy 100 products and sit back and wait for a year for those 25 sales to come in, that wouldn't really be much of an issue for anyone. But the problem is being able to actually buy all of those products and afford it to do these review videos and to not have to necessarily hit 25 sales on a product just to break even? Well, luckily, there is another way that you can go about this and pull it off, and you can really do it for a pretty cheap price. Buy a product off of Amazon that you're going to do a product review video on. However, make sure it is a super popular product, something that sells really, really easily, that a lot of people are looking for, and as a result, you would have a lot of keyword traffic for. We'll be talking about stuff like doing the research for that and keyword traffic here in just a few. But if you get that kind of a product, you purchase it, then you do your product unboxing review video, maybe even a couple of different usage videos on it to target some different keyword phrases besides the product itself. Then what you do is you take that very lightly, gently used product and you resell it on eBay. This way, you can get a decent portion of your money back out of the product, and you get the product review video as a result. This way, you only end up having to get a handful of sales on the product before you've broken even or even gotten into a profitable zone. Just kind of depends on how much you can get that product resold for. But as long as you take really good care of it and it was barely even used at all, you can oftentimes get not your full money back out of the product, but a pretty decent percentage of it. Just look at some price comparisons on eBay and Amazon before you even decide to jump into something like that. And you can have a pretty good idea ahead of time of how much money you might actually get back out of the product. Also consider extra fees that might be involved there. If you sell something on eBay, you can expect to pay roughly 10% or so of the sale price in fees to both eBay and PayPal combined. So make sure you're factoring that into your calculations for what something will actually end up costing you. However, doing it that way, you can run through many, many more products in a much shorter period of time, and it's really not going to cost you a lot in the long run. That way, you actually could work your way through 50 or 100 different products over the course of a year and only having maybe $100 or $200 invested in it at any given point in time. You buy a product, you do your videos on it, you sell it. Once you get that money back in your pocket, you reinvest and you go and buy another product to do even more videos. You can continue on this way forever, really. Now, a couple of other brief things that I want to mention about creating your videos. There's a lot of ways you can do your recordings if you are going to do an actual product review video where you have your hands on that product. You can use your digital camcorder, you can use your smartphone. A lot of times if you have one of the more modern smartphones, that will often be the best way to go. You can get the highest quality video, and you even have access to things like editing apps and video converter apps on smartphones. For example, I mentioned in the day one training that live videos that you're importing into Explaindio, like the one you would see here on my screen, and these videos may not be recordable in the same format that Explaindio is compatible with for those imports. Well, on the Android smartphones, for example, there's an app called Media Converter that can actually convert the video to an FLV format and even change the frame rate for you to make it compatible with Explaindio. So you might be able to find some kind of app or maybe even an online website that could do a conversion for you successfully without you having to actually spend additional money. But if all else fails, there is the Explaindio video converter that I mentioned in previous lessons. Now, as far as recording goes, specifically having to do with audio of your recording, the quality of your audio recording can really make a big difference in the overall experience of your video. If there is a lot of extra unwanted noise going on in your video, it can really distract people from the primary focus, which would be the product and the things that you're actually saying. For this reason, I do actually recommend to take a little bit to invest in a quality microphone that you can use for stuff like this. There are a couple different options. If you're just starting out and you absolutely are on a really strict budget, you could go to your local Best Buy and get one of the cheapy $50 USB or even wireless headsets that they have there. But you are going to suffer from some audio quality issues with those things. They can sometimes be okay for getting started. I personally did get started on one of those $50 headsets, which is why I actually know about it. So it's not impossible to start on that and then to advance, but you will look back on those early videos recorded with that poor quality audio at some point once you advance past it, and you'll really start to look down upon those videos and just think, man, I wish I had done all of these with a good microphone, because then they'd all be out there now with good quality audio. Well, there's a lot of ways that you can get a decent microphone. There's a lot of different kinds of them out there, and really each different kind can sometimes be suited for different purposes. So it'll really depend on what it is that you're trying to accomplish that can actually decide, one microphone type might be a little better than the other. I am going to have a couple of references for you guys in the text of today's lesson that will point you to a couple of these microphones if you would like to take a look at them. One of them is probably the most popular online video microphone, and that would be the Blue Yeti. The Blue Yeti does have really good audio quality. However, there are honestly a lot of situations where it's not the most ideal thing to be using. You do pretty much need to be stationary to use the Blue Yeti, and you need to basically be right up next to it a lot of times. However, it also tends to pick up a lot of background noise, so you need a really quiet environment to be able to use the Blue Yeti correctly to really get that high quality audio out of it. The other option is the one that you see on my screen here, and this is what I personally use. It is a wireless USB headset called the Sennheiser Office Runner. Now, this thing is a little geared towards being used in an office environment. For example, think about a call center where you have this really large room and there are a ton of cubicles in the room, and each person in the cubicle is sitting on their computer taking calls for a support center or something of that nature. This is the kind of headset that a lot of those places actually use. This is one of the most popular of this type for offices. Well, for me personally, I wanted consistent audio quality. I didn't want to be limited to sitting in one specific spot. There are some times that I do things other than just webinars or videos. I might want to talk with somebody on Skype for a little while. So I might not want to be confined to my computer. This definitely allows me some movement. I can actually go up to 400 feet away from my computer and still get good quality with this thing and have it still be connecting to my computer. The other really cool thing is the battery life. It lasts for 12 hours reportedly. I get a little less out of it in a real life situation from, heavy active being turned on using it like I'm doing right now. You can use it for a really long time before the battery dies. And then you just simply plug it back up to the little base right here and it'll recharge to 100% in about an hour or so. So it's fast charging. I've really never had a situation come up where I've needed to use this thing and the battery's dead. That just really doesn't happen with it. So compared with other wireless options, if you go to Best Buy, for example, and look at one of the $50 or even $100 wireless headsets that they have there, you'll see that the battery life is limited. Maybe it's rechargeable, but it takes a while to recharge, and it'll only last for a couple hours on a single charge at best. Or it might even require you to put actual batteries in it. There's a lot of things out there like that that can leave you in the middle of a recording when it just simply dies on you. There's really nothing worse than putting forth all this work to have it cut out on you like that. So depending on what your situation is and what you feel like might work out the best for you, the Blue Yeti or the Sennheiser Office Runner would be my two choices for different types of situations. However, with either of these, or even if you decide to go for something completely different, I would still recommend to get at bare minimum one accessory to go along with it. And that would be a pop filter or a mic boom. You can see one right here. I paused this video on it so I could show it to you when I got to this point. I actually did not even have to purchase this. It's really, really cheap. Even if you need to, they're like a couple bucks and you get like a whole pile of them. This actually came off of my Xbox headset microphone, which is not a very good microphone, but these microphone booms are kind of one and the same. The point of this boom, though, is when you're saying certain words or letters near a microphone, you avoid that rush of air being pushed into the microphone, and it makes kind of a loud pop sound. Well, the mic boom and or a pop filter will overcome that. So if you go for the Sennheiser Office Runner, you're going to need a little mic boom like this. If you go for the Blue Yeti, you'll need a large round pop filter that will essentially sit between you and the microphone, and that prevents that pop from happening. Now, neither of these are super cheap. However, I am going to point you guys to an offer from headsets.com. I don't make a penny from this, and I actually do promote this product on Amazon. So I could try to refer you guys there, but I'm not going to do that because this offer is really, really cool. They're actually allowing people to get this exact headset that I use, and this thing costs $330. It's exactly what I paid for it. You can get it for free, sent to your home for 60 days, and you don't even need to provide credit card information. They're offering 60-day free trials on this puppy right now. So I'm also going to be giving you guys the link for that in case you would like to try it out. There's really nothing to lose there. Try it out for 60 days. Try to make some videos with it. If you're not making money at the end of it, send it back. Don't accept the invoice and pay it and keep it. Or if you find that it simply doesn't work for you. Now, I want to move on and talk about planning your review video a little bit. This will get a little more exciting now. We're actually going to get into some stuff here. And ultimately, a large portion of your work tomorrow for day 4 in this challenge is going to be focused on this, planning your review video that you will then be creating on day number 5. Now, one of the first things that I recommend to do when you are going to be planning out any product review video is to first do some research before you commit to doing anything. There are a number of different places that you can do this research also. You have Amazon, you have Google, YouTube, and even the Google Keyword Planner. And you should really be utilizing all of these resources to help you make the best video possible. This can also help you to decide whether or not it's a good idea to even make a video for a particular product or on a particular subject. If there are not people looking for information on a topic or a product that you're making a review video for, it can be a waste of time, no matter how good of a video you end up creating. So going after kind of the opposite of what I really recommend for people to do with their Amazon affiliate websites, I recommend with product review videos to go for some of the most popular products that you can find in your niche. You're going to be focused a lot of times on the product name as far as your keyword is going to be. So you don't want to go for something that has 100 or 200 monthly searches. A lot of times you want to be up in the thousands of monthly searches for these product review type of videos. This is especially going to be true if you're investing any kind of money whatsoever into this. You need to be going after the more higher dollar value products and after the products that have the most potential for sales volume to be able to make sure you're going to do well from this. Now, with that said, you do not have to solely focus on the most popular products if you're going to be taking one of the different routes to create your videos. What I mean by that is if you're not going to actually hold a product in your hand and do a review video on it, if you're not going to buy the product to be able to accomplish holding it in your hand, then you might have some other options. Yes, you will end up getting less traffic and less results from these other options, most likely. However, it kind of relieves some of the restrictions there, and it especially relieves some of the investment cost in terms of actually having to buy a product. Now, I mentioned earlier, if you simply do product reviews on the products that you're already buying for yourself. Let's say Christmas comes around and you buy your kid a big Hot Wheels. Sorry, not a Hot Wheels. Those things are tiny. Power Wheels. And I have kids with Power Wheels and Hot Wheels too. I should have known that. You buy your kid a big Power Wheels that cost $200-300 or something like that. You know, you're likely going to be sitting around on Christmas Eve taking that thing out of the box and putting it together. It's a perfect time to do a product review video on it, and chances are it could be a really popular product. And if you can do it early enough in the year, like right around the Thanksgiving area, you still have a lot of time left in the year there to get some sales on it. But as long as you're targeting evergreen products that are still going to be popular next year too, then you'll continually get sales and traffic on that. So the following Christmas season would roll around and you would again get bombarded with sales. But even throughout the year, it's still good to be targeting things that are always going to be popular. And things like kids' toys and electronics and hobby-related products are always going to fit that bill. So if you're already going to buy a product that you'd still be buying whether or not you'd be doing a product review video on it, it really becomes less important whether you're targeting the most popular products or if you're not even going to buy the product at all. If you're just going to make a straight animation type of review video, then you can again avoid some of the more popular products and go for some of the less popular ones that still have some kind of search traffic out there looking for information about it. It simply allows you to be less picky. Now, if you're going to buy a product and then resell it on eBay afterwards, something along those lines, I'd still recommend to go for some of the more popular products because, again, you want somebody to rebuy it from you for the highest price possible in the shortest amount of time so you can continually flip the products over and keep getting new ones that you can do more reviews on. Now, on Amazon itself, you obviously have things like best-selling products, really popular products that Amazon releases, and they release new ones all the time, even in their Kindle line, for example. You can do something like wait for a new version of a Kindle to come out and be one of the first people to buy it. Get it on day one, get it in your hands as quickly as you possibly can, and get a review video out there on the internet as quick as you possibly can. Doing something like that, while you may not be able to jump on one of those products today or tomorrow, because you do kind of have to be careful with the timing of them, because the earliest you can get on it, the most potential you're going to have for sales, especially with something electronics that might have a limited lifespan before it's replaced. So consider things like that, new releases that are pretty assured to be really popular products. Pretty much anything new in the Kindle Fire line that Amazon comes out with these days is an almost instant success. You also have your big name companies that are always releasing new products. You can probably think of a number of them that you probably already have in your household at this moment. Follow news and stuff for these companies that you might be interested, companies that relate to what your niche is about. Find out when they're going to have these new product releases and get your hands on one as quick as you possibly can. And then with it being a new product and likely a really popular one, it also makes it a lot easier to get that product resold and to get as much back out of it as possible, especially if all you've really done is taken it out of the box and used it for a few minutes to record a video and put it right back. Beyond your big blockbuster type of product releases that are obviously going to have millions of people looking for them, you can still go into any given niche that is on Amazon here and try to find some of your best sellers, for example. If you go into basically any product that is on Amazon and drill down into your categories, you can often find your bestseller links shown up at the top of the page here. And if not, a lot of times, if you look down below in the products, they can show them to you here too. So number one bestseller in electric guitar beginner kits. Well, once I get to this point, to the bestseller list, which you can also reach directly, amazon.com/gp/bestsellers. You can then drill through your different departments and find definitively what some of the more popular products actually are on Amazon. And this can also help you to find some of the new released products and things of that nature. So you can make some educated decisions about which products you're going to go after. Don't just blindly go after products here, especially if you're going to put any money into getting your hands on those products. Now you also have Google and YouTube and even Google's Keyword Planner that you can utilize for the research phase. One of the things that I really recommend to do is to kind of search through some keyword phrases that have to do with the product you're going to try to target. So for example, if I was going to go after the Kindle Fire HD 7-inch, I would look on this page and see if there actually is maybe a review video that is being shown on there. You can get a feeling of whether or not Google might be willing to put your video on there based on whether or not you can find other review videos there as well. So for example, right here, I can easily find the Kindle Fire HD 7-inch review video on YouTube, but I can also see that it's older because this product is an older product. This isn't their most recent model of it. So while I wouldn't want to be going after this exact model, I might go for the brand new one. And maybe I couldn't confirm that Google would give that video a good ranking, but if I can confirm that they did it for an older version of the product or something like that, chances are they'll do it for this one too. Now on YouTube, you can also explore beyond the product itself. You can explore other relational products that are available here. You can also see simply the way people go about doing their product review videos, because everyone kind of has their own different way of doing it. Some of them like to make them entertaining. Some of them like to make them as short as possible to give you the information you need, but to not have a bunch of filler in there. So there's not necessarily a right and a wrong way that you can review a product. However, it can be a good idea to experience a number of different techniques to kind of figure out what is going to work the best for you, especially if you're actually going to have the product in your hand and do a review on it. Now I want to come back here to YouTube in just a few minutes to talk about some other research you can do on there. For now though, I want to go on to the Google Keyword Planner to talk about taking your product idea that you might want to do a review on and confirming for sure whether or not people are looking for information on this. This would be in terms of getting traffic off of Google for that product and specifically for your review video. Now for something like the Kindle Fire HD, you can take the main name of the product, what people will usually call that product, and oftentimes simply add the word review on to the end of it and find out whether or not people are searching for that. If I click over to keyword ideas, you can see that this exact phrase, Kindle Fire HD 7, even with the review part tacked on to the end, has almost 1,900 monthly searches on it. If I remove the 7, I'd get 5,400 monthly searches. And there are also many other different kinds of variations of stuff like this, a lot of them having a decent amount of traffic on them as well. So when you can see something like this, a nice amount of traffic directly relating to a review-based keyword phrase, these are your absolute best ones that you can possibly target. Yes, you will have competition in these keyword phrases. However, if you are going to be making a high quality first or third person product review video for that product, then you actually stand a good chance to be one of the top 10 that ranks for it. Even if not, though, even if you could never rank in the top 10 of Google for this keyword phrase, if you have this many people searching on Google for it, chances are you have quite a bit of YouTube traffic for it too. People search for things on YouTube traffic, and that traffic does not get grouped in with this Google search traffic. Now, in addition to going after an obvious high traffic keyword phrase that directly relates to a specific product review, you might have some situations where you've purchased a product and you were already going to buy that product and you wanted to do a review video on it just simply because you're going to have it and you can do an unboxing on it. But what if you can't find a lot of keyword traffic for it? I have a really great example, and that is my headset that I use. Even though this is a really, really popular headset for use in office environments, when it comes to people searching for specific review information on this product, you really do not have a lot. However, when you run into a situation like this, if it's a product that you're already going to be buying and you simply want to try to get some kind of decent product review video out of that purchase as well, you don't have to go for the review phrase for that product. You can actually go for either a usage phrase. For example, I could look for a headset microphone for creating training videos or YouTube videos. I could look a little more specific in terms of what my product really is. I could try to target something like a wireless USB headset microphone. And I could try to find relational keyword phrases to this. USB headset with microphone right here, for example, has 1,900 searches. So people are definitely looking for this kind of a product. It's really just about targeting it correctly on YouTube. And this could be like with the title of your video, the description that goes along with it, and even content that you have in the video itself. So it's important to know these things before you proceed with creating your video so you don't accidentally target it incorrectly. I could create a video that only targeted 10 searches a month or 1,900 searches a month, all by simply changing basically the title of my video. So it's important to know what you're going to be targeting ahead of time so you can target the proper thing. Now, once you have kind of done some research and you feel like this is a good product to go after, there's a lot of available traffic out there, and especially if it is a newer product within the niche to where maybe you can't find an immense amount of competition on YouTube for that product, for example. Here I could obviously go and search for the Kindle Fire HD 7, and I'm probably going to get tons of results, 1,100 results on that one. However, if I could find a brand new product that they're releasing tomorrow, chances are there's going to be many, many less results on something like that. So simply keep in mind that all these other ones out there can be your direct competitors. And you either need to have something extra that you can be offering people or a unique way to target the product if you're going to go after something that's older, something that already has a lot of established videos and many, many results for that kind of video. So keep this in mind when you are actually choosing your product. When you are confident on what you want to try to go after, you've decided on buying a specific product or just simply making a review video on a specific product, then you need to go over to Amazon to collect a little bit of information about it. I'll just go into one of the Kindle Fires. Hey, I got the 7-inch that I have been talking about already. A number of things that are contained within this page here is perfect information for you to have for your product review video. Number one, you have the important specs or features about a product. These are going to be, while very obvious, a lot of these are often things that people really want to know, especially having to do with electronics or computer-related items. This is certainly true. You need to know this information and even record it or take notes on some of the more important aspects of it, because it can be good to repeat this stuff in your review video. You also have aspects like images. Whether or not you're going to have the product in your hand, you can still utilize some of these Amazon images for the product, even if it's just going to show up for a couple of seconds on a little intro screen before your actual video where you're showing the product begins. It can still make a nice clean version of the picture for you to use. You can use it as a sketch image inside of Explaindio, or use a variety of different effects to get this to show up within your video itself. Now, take any video or any image that you find here. For example, a nice clean product image like the one you see here, or maybe even this one, for example. And just simply right-click and save the image as and put it on your computer. Then you can later have this information all ready to go when it's time to create your actual video. Now, beyond the picture and the obvious specs of the product, the other main thing I would recommend to focus on are the reviews and customer questions and answers that Amazon has along with the product. If you're going after a really popular product, this should definitely be true. You should be able to find tons of this kind of information. And you can jump to that by clicking on the little review link right here. It'll bring you down to the bottom so you can read some of the most helpful reviews that are listed here, or some of the most recent reviews that are on the right. But you can also do some other things like look at the worst reviews that are on a product. Look at the 1-star reviews. See what bad things people say about it. A lot of times when you're making a product review video and you're going to be promoting that product as an affiliate, you might be inclined to not focus on the negatives. However, that can actually work against you, because sometimes people tend to not trust your review if you won't say anything bad about the product, because almost any product, even the best of them, have something negative about them. They have a certain kind of situation where maybe another product would be even better for that kind of a person. Maybe there's one little aspect of it that breaks commonly or something like that. You know, there's always something like that, and it can actually be good to put a little bit of a spotlight on those things in your video, because then people are more inclined to believe everything else you're saying about the product in a positive manner. It also helps them to decide whether or not the product is right for them or not by knowing those negative things about it. So you should not only be reading through this information, but when you come across something that's really, really important like that, record it. Jot down a little note in a notepad or something about it so you can have that information for your use later on. Now, I'm not saying to copy the Amazon customer reviews. Absolutely do not do that. What I am saying to do is take the basic idea behind it. For example, this review right here, durable, I think not. These things are not durable as you would believe. I knocked one off the armrest of the chair, 2 feet off the ground, and shattered the screen. You can say what this guy is saying without taking his review. Simply the fact that you might be better off going for a different product that has been found to be a lot more resistant to breaking over this particular one, if you feel like that is something that is important for you. Some people, will only keep a product like this on a desk and they'll never move it anywhere and never have a reason why it would really have a good chance of breaking. Whereas other people, like myself, for example, might have young children. My 3-year-old daughter is a huge fan of the Kindle Fire, and she's actually been using these things since she was maybe even earlier than a year old, possibly. And despite our best efforts to keep an eye on her with them, she has broken, I want to say 5 or 6 of them in the past 2.5 years or something like that. So yes, I can vouch that they're not quite as durable as they could be. If you drop them, the screen oftentimes will shatter. If you sit on them or stand on them or something like that, they're almost definitely toast in those situations. So, you can repeat this kind of stuff in your video when you're talking about it. If you're holding the actual thing in your hand, you don't have to slam it down on the ground and shatter it to prove to people that it's not durable. You can mention that this is simply a common problem that people sometimes have with it, and just make them aware of that. Then they're a lot more inclined to believe everything else you're going to be saying good about the product, the reasons why they would want to actually have it. Because despite the fact that this thing has been broken so many times by my daughter, I keep getting another one. And it's simply because it's really easy for her to use. She can do all kinds of stuff on it. And I've even thought about making some special YouTube videos about that, because these things are really kid-friendly. They have the kids version now of these things, but even the old ones work out quite well. So my point here is that you don't have to own and use these products and experience them for yourselves to actually learn these kinds of stories about products. Amazon has it all for you right here. Review their 5-star ratings to see what people love about it, and then review their 1-star ratings to see what people hate about it. You can use this information to make much, much more useful product review videos. Talk about these things when you're showing the product to people, when you're showing people what the product can do. Now, I also mentioned that I was going to come back to YouTube here in a few. One of the things that you can do on YouTube that's actually pretty interesting is to explore this connection between searching on Google and on YouTube to get to specific YouTube videos. For example, I reached this video here by searching for Kindle Fire HD7. Chances are I could probably add review on to the end of it, and now I get a slightly different one here. So the point is, search for a product here on Google or on YouTube and see what shows up as the most popular one. Then visit that video on YouTube. Now what you want to do is focus on a couple of different aspects of the video. Number one, you have the actual title of the video. This oftentimes is going to be really, really important to help you get search rankings on specific phrases. You also have the description on the video. Right here, you will almost always find at least some kind of writing here, and chances are you'll be able to find some of these relational keyword phrases contained within this description, and even links to pages that have to do with this product on another website. Well, beyond what you're obviously going to see, the obvious elements that these people are using to try to go after a specific keyword phrase, one of the other aspects that you may not realize is all of the keyword phrases that people punch into YouTube for a product. If I right-click on any YouTube video page right here, click on View Page Source, I get to the HTML coding for that particular page. Well, what I want to do here is to look for a specific part, the OG video tag area. This is going to tell me the exact keywords that people are using for this particular video. So the point is not to try to copy them exactly, but when your keywords are relational to their keywords, you stand a much better chance of ending up as one of these relational videos over here on YouTube. Now, beyond the keywords, you also have things like likes and dislikes, and people subscribing to someone through a video, and people commenting on a video. All of these are more social engagement aspects to a video. So if you see a lot of views or a lot of likes or a lot of subscribers or even a lot of comments on a video, that can be part of the reason why that video ranks so well, both potentially on Google and on YouTube. It's important to understand this for your own video so you can actually target the right keyword phrases, and so you can also be able to fill out your information on the YouTube video itself when you're uploading it or recording it. This is going to go a long way to help you to get more traffic off of these particular websites here. As an example here, when I search the same keyword phrase, I actually find that exact same video here listed as the #1 video on YouTube as well. So this video obviously is going to get a pretty decent amount of exposure from both YouTube and Google relating to that keyword. Now, beyond all these different aspects, researching, collecting information for your video, you need to actually plan what the slides of your video are going to be. For the most part, the actual way you go about doing this and the slides that your video will contain can vary from one person to the next. This is because you might be creating a different kind of video. A sketch animation type of video is going to be very different from a first-person video or a third-person video. So I wanted to try to cover both of these perspectives for you so you can know exactly what you should be planning out no matter what kind of video you're going to be creating. Now, the first thing that I recommend to have in your video is going to be some kind of an intro screen. In a lot of cases, you will want to keep this as short as possible and also likely limit it to only one slide in your video. This would especially be the case if you're going to be doing an in-person product review video. You don't want it to take too long until you actually get to that hands-on video. You don't want people to be stuck watching through text animations for a while to be able to reach it, because a lot of people might leave your video before it even starts the actual video part, simply because they might not think that that's ever going to happen in that video. So with that said, you want your intro screen to be pretty short, sweet, and to the point. Depending on what your plans are with creating product review videos, you might change this intro screen a little bit to a certain extent. For pretty much everybody, you should be introducing basically your product and or the purpose of the video here in this intro screen. However, if you're going to be making a lot of videos, especially over the course of time, and be doing higher quality first or third person videos, and especially if you're going to be limiting them to a single niche, it can be worth your effort to brand yourself and or your website in this intro slide as well. That way people become familiar with you, your website, your voice, and they might even be inclined to subscribe to you and go and check out some of the other things that you do. However, if you're just going to do a random product video here and there, it might not be worth that extra effort to try to brand yourself in that manner through these videos. So you could do something fairly short, sweet, and to the point here, like for this particular video that I showed you a little clip of earlier, where I would simply be introducing myself and talking along with it. This would be more for a text and animation heavy type of project though. Whereas if I was going to be doing something more like a real life video, I might want something fairly quick like this. I could maybe even use my name up here. Ryan Stevenson presents the Sennheiser Office Runner wireless USB headset. And then boom, I fade directly into my actual video with real action in it. That way people don't have to wait very long. They know exactly what the video is going to be about. And you still get a couple seconds there to give them some extra information, or where you can put your name in there or your website name in there, something of that nature. Beyond this intro screen though, you have the meat of your product review video. This can vary quite a bit depending on what kind of video you're actually going to create though. If you're making a more animation heavy kind of video, you would have a lot more slides. Whereas if you're going to have a live action video like this, you might only have one slide, and that slide might consist of nothing but your actual video. Now, if you're doing some kind of an animation for a decent part or even your entire video, there's really a lot of different ways that you can kind of go about doing something like that. You can do kind of a storytelling approach where you tell about your own struggles with a product and provide a solution. You can also do more of the straight product review approach, where you might have a slide on the different specs or key features of a product. Then you might not have another slide that covers the main or popular uses of a product. Another slide might talk about pros and cons of the product. Another slide might talk about customer reviews or consumer information having to do with it. And then finally, you might have a product comparison area where you compare it to another similar type of product. So you can do all of those types of slides all in one single sketch or animated video. You can also pick and choose the ones that would kind of work the best for your situation or what you might be trying to accomplish with that video. You can also mix and match that stuff with live action videos, kind of like what I have done in this particular sequence that I've created here, where I have some text and animation stuff, but then I still get into some live action video as well, where I have a couple different segments of that live action video. Finally, you have an outro screen for a video. The outro screen is not 100% required. However, I do think it is best to have it included on the end of your video. It doesn't have to be very long, a couple of seconds or so, where you're encouraging people to direct them along to your website where your product affiliate link is going to be for what you're reviewing. You can also use this as a bit of a branding segment where you have your name or your website name also being referred to yet again at the very end of it. For the most part, though, the main thing you need to worry about is figuring out what you want to tell people about the product and how you can do that in a way that it's going to be useful, not like you're trying to just sell the product to them. For example, with my headset here, I can demonstrate it being set up. I can demonstrate connecting it up to my computer, showing how quickly all that works. I can demonstrate charging and stuff like that. I can record the actual video with the headset so they get to hear the audio. I might even do some kind of an audio comparison using an old headset, a less expensive one, so people can hear the difference between the things. For something like the Kindle Fire that I've been talking about during this class a little bit as well, I could actually demo it where people could see my screen and I could show them how certain things work, show them some of the really good things about the product, and also point out a couple of the negative things about it as you go as well. I have a segment in my video where I'm going to be talking about the product, and I will even point out one of the biggest negatives, that it doesn't come with a microphone boom, even though they're really, really cheap. It's simply something else that you can mention beyond what people might commonly know about a product, but it can be these little details that really sell them on wanting to buy something or not, or to completely taking in your entire review as being a legitimate review and not a faked one, because there are a lot of fake reviews out there on the internet. So you kind of have to battle against this when you are trying to put yours together. Now for day 4 in this training, tomorrow, you're going to proceed with planning out your video, trying to figure out what product you're going to promote, what kind of video you're going to create, and what different slides you will have in your video. So I've kind of discussed all that stuff with you guys today. Tomorrow, though, you will have a checklist available for you that you can walk through and even refer back to this video if need be to create your entire video plan. And then on day 5, we're actually going to create that video in Explaindio.